Hey guys, so it has been only about 7 hours since the end of the last video for me. I'm actually currently exporting that so that I can get it uploaded, and I just sat down to have my coffee and breakfast, but then I remembered that I have an exciting package to open, and it's exciting only because I don't know what it is. So this is a package that my dad sent me for St. Nick's Day, because today, in my time, is St. Nick's Day, which is the feast day of St. Nicholas, which is a thing. I don't know how widely celebrated it is, even among Catholics, but I grew up celebrating it. It's a Catholic holiday, and it's sort of, I don't know, like, there's like a whole backstory to it and everything, but like, of course, what you celebrate as kids is that, like, oh, you put out your shoes the night before, and then Saint Nick fills them with candy, and you know. So my dad, we've always done this, and he likes to send us just little, we don't always keep it to candy, sometimes it's just little presents for St. Nick's Day, and so I have a mysterious envelope here that I have not opened, and I'm excited to open it. I have to figure out how to get it. There we go. And I got this on Monday, and I have been very patient not opening it since then, but it's been very difficult. So, all right. Oh my goodness. So my dad went with chocolate this year. Super excited. Oh my gosh, I will probably have to take these in to work with me today so that I don't sit and eat all of them, but this is great. Yay. Okay, so I'm gonna put these away. I'm not gonna break into them because I have breakfast to eat and I need to be a little bit healthy for breakfast, but awesome. Thanks, Dad, in case you're watching this, because I know you watched one of my other videos, because he scolded me about crossing the street when I wasn't supposed to be crossing the street. So goes to show, parents will always parent, even over a distance. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and have my coffee and breakfast, and I will check back in with you guys a little bit later. By the way, I did get that hat finished up yesterday. I took it with me to game night and finished it there. So it's still damp right now. I had it hanging up on my little over-the-door drying rack there to dry. So, but I think it'll be dry by tomorrow and ready to gift, and I'm gonna get some good pictures of it, and I'm thinking I might write up the pattern as just like a free pattern on my blog, because I really like the way these decreases turned out. So yeah, so stay tuned for that. I guess I'll let you guys know tomorrow if I'm able to get some good pictures, and then it's not a hard pattern, so I should be able to get it up over the weekend, if that is indeed the case. So stay tuned, watch this space. Look at me out in the daylight like a normal person. I'm currently walking across campus because I need to drop off some grading that I did for the lab I teach tonight, so that I just don't have to bring it over later tonight. And I also need to find some lunch because I don't have any lunch. I just never got my meal prep done because I was sick over the weekend, and I just, you know, kind of was putting off the meal prep, and then I thought I would have time to do it in the evening this week, and I just haven't. So that means that now I have no food. Rush across the street and not get hit by a bus. Anyway, so yeah, so now I have no food, so I need to go get lunch somewhere. I haven't quite decided what I want, but yeah, otherwise it's been a sort of productive day. Like I said, I did my grading, and I wrote up the pattern for that hat, so all I need to do now is just get a picture taken of it and just plop it in there. It's a pretty basic pattern, but I mean, you know, there can't ever be too many variations on a basic ribbed hat, right? Speaking of hats, this hat, I don't know if you guys can see it very well. This was a gift from my friend that I knit those socks for, those green socks. I inspired her to do the Traveling Cables hat by Pearl Soho, and she gave it to me this morning, and it's just this like really pretty gray yarn. It's a little bit more rustic-y feeling wool, but I love it. It's so cozy and warm, and it's like the first time I've really been gifted like a hand knit thing, like a wearable hand knit thing. I think well, yeah, I think ever. At least, you know, like as an adult. Like I've been gifted some accessories and some little things like that, which I mean I love, don't get me wrong. But it's like it's such a different feeling because I so frequently give my knits to people. And so it's kinda fun to be on the other end of that. Anyway, I am, like I said, I'm headed over to the department. I'm going to drop off those papers. I'm going to foist some of those chocolates off on some other people so that the temptation to eat them is not there anymore. And then I'm going to find some lunch. So let's do that. Hello and welcome to my kitchen again. It's been a while since I talked to you guys. It's actually now getting on to 8 p.m. I taught my last evening lab and now I am home, and the first thing I need to get done is I need to bake some cookies for our holiday party tomorrow for the physics department. So I thought I would share with you guys my favorite cookie recipe, which is sort of healthy. It's grain-free and obviously then gluten-free and dairy-free, depending on how you make it. So it's like really great, and it's really accommodating for a wide variety of dietary needs, and even people who don't have like those sort of dietary restrictions still like it, because I made these last night at the game night and everyone really loved them. So and this is not like my own recipe. You can find this recipe all over the place on the internet, but this is how I do it. So these are peanut butter cookies, and so the first ingredient you need obviously is peanut butter, and then you also will need sugar or some sort of sweetener. I've made these before with honey, but not very often, not enough to tell you how much honey you'll need, and I've never made them with any sort of artificial sweeteners either. So sugar, you will need eggs and baking powder, and then if you want, some sort of chocolate chips. So the amounts that you need for a full batch, you need 1 cup of peanut butter, 1 egg, like about half a teaspoon or so of baking powder. I'm never too precise about it, about half a teaspoon. And then between 1/2 and 1 cup of sugar. A lot of recipes, if you find them online, will say 1 cup of sugar to 1 cup of peanut butter, which I think is way too sweet. I usually make them with half a cup of sugar to 1 cup of peanut butter. Tonight I might throw just a little bit of extra sugar in since I'm making them for other people. But I would say start on the lower end, especially if you're going to be putting in something like chocolate chips, and then maybe add more later if you decide you need it. So yeah, so I'm actually making a double batch. So what I'm going to be doing is 2 cups of peanut butter, 1 cup of sugar, plus maybe a smidge more, like a tablespoon more, 2 eggs, 1 tablespoon or 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and then half the batch is not going to have chocolate chips, and then the other half is going to have these little mini chips, and it's probably going to be like a 1/4 cup for half a batch. And these are the Enjoy Life brand, and the reason I chose these is because they are dairy-free, and I know some of the people that I'm making these for, they're gluten-free and dairy-free, so, so this makes it so everyone can eat them. So I won't bore you with me measuring everything out, but I will show you guys what the dough looks like when it kind of comes together, and then sort of, you know, how I divide them up into the little cookies, and then I'll show you what they look like when they're done. So stay tuned. Man, the light is not doing this any justice. But anyway, this is what your dough should look like after you've mixed it. At first, it might seem like, oh my gosh, this is so sloppy. I'm never gonna get this to come together. And trust me, just keep stirring it. It will come together. The key thing is the sugar kind of has to start to absorb some of the liquid. And then when it does, it will eventually become something that, you know, you can pick up and roll into a ball then, you know, like regular cookie dough. So I'm going to put half of this on a tray and put that in the oven. I forgot to mention this, but you bake this at 350 degrees for somewhere between 12 to 15 minutes. Basically, you want the bottoms to get golden, but obviously not burned. So yeah, I will show you guys that once I have these all on the cookie sheet. All right, got my lumpy little balls on my cookie sheet. I just formed them into, these are roughly like tablespoon size little balls, I guess. And then obviously you can't forget to do the classic little peanut butter crisscross fork marks. But the nice thing about these is that they are not going to spread very much. So you can pack them pretty close on the cookie sheet. And as long as they aren't touching when they go into the oven, they will not be touching when they come out of the oven. And yeah, like I said, bake at 350 degrees for 12 to 15 minutes. I'm gonna set mine for 12 and then I will check them after that. And they will be very crumbly when they come out of the oven because of, you know, the really high fat content and the fact that there's no flour in them. So at first you kind of want to just let them be. I know it's really tempting to like wanna try them, but like seriously, I'm probably gonna let them just sit for maybe like half an hour and they will firm up. Like they will seem really crumbly and you'll probably break one if you try and take them off the tray too fast. But if you let them sit, they will firm up. I mean, they'll still be, you know, a crumblier cookie, but they'll be a cookie that you can handle and, you know, like I'm gonna transport them tomorrow. So like it does help to sort of let them sit. But let's see, 2 cookies away from being done. Come on. Also, I love to bake on parchment paper because then I can just take this whole sheet of paper off the pan and then put my other ones on the pan and not have to have 2 pans going. Plus, I only have 1 pan, so win. Okay, so let's move everything out of the way so I can open the oven. And let's put these guys in the oven. Boom! Check on you guys in 12 minutes. So, this is the batch without the chocolate chips, just took them out of the oven. I wound up giving them an extra 2 minutes, so I baked these for a total of 14 minutes. Again, it depends on your oven. But yeah, these are done. This is what they look like, so they're still pretty pale on top. And I don't know if you guys will be able to see this, but if you, I can kind of tip them up, and I can see that they're kind of done on the bottom. Oh, okay, there we go. So you can see it's gotten a little golden on the bottom, maybe a little bit past. I maybe should have taken them out about 30 seconds sooner, but I mean, it's fine. So like I said, these are very crumbly right now. I'm lucky I got that one to flip over. So I'm gonna let these sit for maybe about 2 or 3 minutes and just cool down just a little bit. And then I need to take them off of the tray because I need the tray to be able to put in my chocolate chip batch. So yeah, and I will probably have one of these guys a little bit later, and I'll let you know how they turned out. But I mean, I already know they're gonna be magnificent. Okay, so as promised, I'm going to taste the cookies, make sure they actually are good before I, you know, lead you guys astray. So this is the plain one, no chocolate chips. Peanut butter cookie, that's what it looks like inside. I'm dropping crumbs on my keyboard. But it's just a nice crumbly peanut buttery cookie. Again, it kind of depends on how sweet you make them. Will really determine sort of how they taste. But I think they taste really good. And something interesting about these cookies is like the quality of the cookie really depends on the quality of the peanut butter, right? So like the more you're willing to splurge for like decent peanut butter, the better they're gonna taste. You know, I've made them with store brand peanut butter and like they're fine, but like if you can increase the price just a little bit of your peanut butter, like that really adds to the flavor of the cookie. And I know some recipes online, you know, will say, oh, you can't use natural peanut butter with these. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but I was using Skippy or the Smucker's natural peanut butter. So that has no sugar added to it. It doesn't have any extra oil. Like it's basically peanuts and salt. And like it's the one that will separate. And that's what I've always used for these, and it always works fine. Just make sure you mix it up ahead of time. But like, that's what I've always used. So it works, it really does. All right, so this is the chocolate chip one. also good. This one's a little warmer because I mean, these have been out of the oven for about 10 minutes, but a little bit warmer. But yeah, both really good. So I highly recommend this recipe. It's certainly not like low calorie or anything, but again, you can adjust the sugar so it's a little bit lower sugar than a lot of cookies. And it's nice because it's like, I don't always have eggs on hand, but like sometimes I'll have eggs. Like I'll buy I bought a half dozen eggs to make these, so now I have 4 eggs sitting in my fridge. And I always have peanut butter, and typically I have some amount of sugar in my cabinet. So like these are nice cookies for when you just like need something, but you don't have other ingredients. So give them a shot. Let me know what you think of them. And that's going to be it for me this evening. So I will see you guys again tomorrow. Bye.